So this class is really cool because it's opposite of directing 1 and directing 2, where you get split up into groups every single week and work on a different project. This class is the polar opposite, where you have 1 project and 1 team all quarter long.
The first day we got there, we were put into groups, and immediately on the first day they were like, okay, here's your schedule for the rest of the 10 weeks, and you have to hit these markers.
So we're going from finding a script to doing pre-production, to storyboards, to our art design, then getting into production, actually finding a set, finding a location, and then all the way through post-production, including marketing and the final cut and everything like that.
It's the first class where we really start doing a lot of paperwork and have a lot of producing work that we didn't have to do before, and basically just start creating films, even 5-minute films, more professionally. This was the first time I've ever directed something I didn't write, so that was a challenge, but I really enjoyed it, and we had a really good script, so that came through. And in this specific project, it's really one character's story grappling with fear and what it means to be afraid, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
For me, reading the script, it was just highly visual. The upside to shooting like a thriller and something that's like a little intense and fun is that you can play around with the camera some more and choose some angles that are odd or weird and disorienting and do things with the camera that sort of mimic that uncomfortable feeling.
So for pre-production, I was one of the producers. That was a lot of work to do, and it was my first time really ever producing anything.
When Magely was assigned to the group, I was nervous at first, but she is such a team player. So it was fun, like, getting to kind of show her what I know about producing. We met together a few times one-on-one, and I just told her, these are what breakdowns are, these are what day-out-of-days are, and this is why we do these things. And eventually, she just kind of like picked it up herself, and she was able to take care of things. It was such a blessing to have her on the set.
It was really hard to find a location. We took forever trying to find one, because first we were gonna get an actual hospital to film in, and Sarah was positive they were gonna say yes, but it wasn't like towards the very end, they were like, just kidding guys, you can't film here because who knows what, and it costs like thousands of dollars. We're like, forget that idea.
And so we had to scramble for a second location, and we couldn't get actors or the rest of our crew because we didn't have a location and we didn't have days or times, and it was a nightmare.
We looked for maybe like 5 other locations, and it wasn't until the last one someone recommended, like, oh, Kamaraka Bing, they're really nice and everything.
We ended up finding this conference room, and it just worked perfectly. It had like the counter with the sink, and the walls were like this kind of putrid yellow, and I was like, perfect, that's what I need.
The hardest part about production was actually being sick. At the time, I had tonsillitis, so it was hard to like eat and talk, and it was just sort of painful, and my body was exhausted. The night before, our cast sort of like depleted by like everybody, so we had to like recast the night before, and I was like, hey guys, we could always like reschedule, right? And they were like, no, we like can't, like I think we've got everybody that we need back, you know, we've got enough people, so we just need to do it. You know, Hailey was really like, we just need to shoot and like get it over with. And I was like, okay, fine, then we just need to shoot and get it over with, and I'll just like do what I have to like get through.
Leading up to the actual production of Inside the Hospital, we had another quick Sunday shoot before for the newscast that we were gonna put on the TV inside. And so I also had to like make sure the edit for that looked like a news broadcast. And so I had to create lower thirds for that, make it look like they were actually streaming television, like actual news.
Wednesday, we got there, and immediately we had transformed this conference room into a hospital in like half an hour, got everything set up how we wanted, and then we would basically just run through the day, kind of run through the script and the shot sheet.
I think the best way to describe how what we were going for visually is just uncomfortable, disorienting, creepy. Some of the things that we did, like from a technical perspective, I used a 14mm lens a lot, and it has like a warp on it, like a fisheye. So that right there already feels like odd, because the human features get a little distorted if you get close enough. You know, we just played a lot like handheld and just felt a little shaky and uncomfortable the whole time.
On set, my duties involved a lot of keeping everyone on time and on track. And then it was my job to also handle any situations that came up. Like, for example, when our boom pole broke. the guy's like holding the boom pole and it's in pieces, and like, we can't fix this. We don't have what we need to fix it, and I think it's broken. So luckily we were close enough to where we could just run over and get a new boom pole from the equipment room. But it was still one of those situations that I had to handle as the AD.
We were short on actors, so I had to jump in there too. And it was really crazy because I don't act either, but playing someone dead was kind of easy, sort of. So yeah, honestly, I was probably just being myself when I'm tired.
So we literally got our final actor like as we started shooting. But once we got everybody in costume and ready, and I kind of went through the script with them and talked about character and stuff, everybody did a really good job. Joe Graves was our lead actor, and he, again, I've worked with him a lot, and we've worked together as actors together, but I had never directed him before, and it was super fun. He did a really, really good job.
When it came to actual production, I was helping out with sound. I was the sound mixer, so like I made sure like everything was consistent and clear. When a cue would happen, I would also be thinking, all right, what kind of Foley do I need? Because when post-production comes, I need to mix that in. So being on set was also like, as an editor eyes, like making sure that like, all right, what do I need to add in here? What kind of effects need to go here?
There's one scene where we had to break the TV.
The TV was actually one of the fun parts, just because of the fact that I got to break stuff.
The funniest thing is how everyone was like, okay, we finally get to break a TV. And so it was like when we broke the TV, it's just there in like pieces and broken, and like, all right, well, let's throw it in the trash can. We're never gonna use it. And we threw it in the trash can, and then like on set, we're like, wait a minute, we need it back for one more shot.
I really liked how we all kind of like, we didn't really know each other, but we all came together.
I definitely learned a lot. We all have a strong determination to get this like project done and actually make it good, not just like to pass, but to actually make it good and bring this project alive.
The production was probably the smoothest I've been on in a very long time.
Whatever problems came at us, we just took it on together and battled it.
A big part of why it worked very well for our team is because we all felt like we had a voice in the story.
Oh man, everybody was so good. These are people I want to work with again.
I kind of feels like, okay, like we're actual adults now, gonna be working in the film industry. We gotta learn how to do this. Let's just, work it out.
I think the biggest surprise, in a good way, was just working with this team that I never worked with before, because that was the biggest thing I was afraid of, and it turned out to just be awesome. Like, everyone just slayed, and I really, really loved working with people and discovering these talents that I didn't realize that they had.